Hey, Washington campus, Brad here with some encouragement and a look ahead at what's going to be happening this weekend at the Washington campus. But first thing I want to ask you is this. What is the longest distance you have ever run? The longest distance you've ever run. Have you ever been in a race? Maybe you've even done a marathon. Would love to know. So let me know in the comments. Just kind of comment, say, hey, this is how far I've gone. And maybe you've never run, and so maybe your answer will be on the short side, and that might be kind of humorous as well. But just I would love to hear any answers about how far the longest distance you've ever run. And even if you have any funny running stories, that'd be good as well. Well, why do I ask that? Because it's interesting in the New Testament, the writers of the New Testament, many of them will use running, the idea of a race, as a metaphor for the Christian life. You see it pop up time and time again in the New Testament. And so, whether we like sports or not, sports are often a very good analogy for life, metaphor for life. And we certainly see that even back in New Testament times. You see the idea of a race popping up time and time again. One example is in the book of Second Timothy. And Second Timothy is one of my favorite books in the New Testament because it's very personal. Paul is writing to Timothy, a younger pastor, somebody that he mentored, and so it's very personal that way. But Second Timothy is also personal because it's the last letter that we have from the Apostle Paul before he was martyred, before he was executed for his faith. And so it very much reads, and as you read it with understanding that in mind, it all clicks because you see Paul, you can tell this is his final shot, his final chance to kind of pass on wisdom and encouragement to Timothy. And so it's a very heartfelt letter. And so when you get to the last chapter of Second Timothy, in Second Timothy 4, Paul even says this very thing. He says, "For I am already being poured out as a drink offering, and the time of my departure has come." And then he says this, "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the course, I have kept the faith." And so there you see, Paul says, well, I've fought the good fight, but he says, I have finished the course. And that's that idea of seeing life as a race, not a sprint, but as a marathon, as a long running race. Paul says, I'm realizing I have now finished my course. I am coming to the end. I am coming to the finish line. And what's cool about it is Paul can, as from his perspective, evaluate his life, says, I have kept the faith. I have been faithful to what God has called me to do. And I don't know about you, but I know for me, that's what I hope to be able to say when I get to the point where I have finished my course, that I've kept the faith, that I've run the race well. And I would hope, certainly you would hope that as well, and that would be something that's true of your life. But here's the question. When we say that, whether it be in our spiritual lives or really any area of our life where we have goals and say, hey, this is what I hope will be true, well, what are we doing to bring that about? It's one thing to say, hey, this is what I want to happen. This is where I want to end up. This is where I want to get to. But am I doing the things now that are going to help me get to that point? So if I want to run the race well, if I want to run the Christian race well, if I want to run well in my life, want to run well for the Lord, what am I doing to make that happen? Well, I tell you what, I'm excited because this Sunday we're going to be preaching. I'll be preaching live, and so our text is Hebrews 12, verses 1 through 3. And we're going to look at that very question. What can I do? What do we need to do to run well, to run with endurance? And so I'm excited. There's a lot in those 3 verses. I'm not going to lie. I'm excited about that. So much to unpack there. So looking forward to that. So I hope you can join us this coming Sunday as we dive into that, talking about what does it mean to run with endurance and why we fix our eyes on Jesus, who is the author and perfecter of our faith. And so I just let me encourage you, if you have time, go ahead and read those first 3 verses in Hebrews 12 before this Sunday. But also, if you want, what would really help is read Hebrews chapter 11, because that sets up what the writer of Hebrews says in chapter 12 when he says, therefore. That points back to chapter 11. So if you have time before Sunday, read Hebrews 11 and then 12, 1 through 3. But again, can't wait for this Sunday to open up that God's Word and look at that passage. It's got some great stuff that I think will really help. It helps me, it challenges me, and it's going to help you as well know how to run with endurance. We're also going to take communion this Sunday. It's Communion Sunday. We always look forward to that. And we're going to start talking about Vacation Bible School, because that's going to be here before we know it. Always a great outreach opportunity, always a great ministry for our kids, so we're excited about that as well. So hope to see you Sunday, 9 a.m. or 10:45. Come to one of our Sunday morning services. Hope to see you then. But until then, as always, let's press on.